Hey guys, Doug the Retirement Guy here. We got a brand new video here of the 5 high yield ETFs that are great for retirement, putting out 13 to 48% in yields and no decay or no NAV erosion. This was actually brought to us by one of our Patreon supporters, needed some help with their portfolio, and we jumped in and helped them right out. So we got to say a big thank out to all of the Patreon people out there. You guys do a great job and you keep this channel rolling. Also, want to thank all of you who have hit subscribe and joined our community. You guys are making this channel blow up and go crazy, and we appreciate it. Let's get into today's video and show you what we did. First, we have to have a notice to all viewers. Past performance does not guarantee future results. The information in this video is for educational and informational purposes only, and it should not be considered financial or investment advice. Any examples or suggestions discussed and illustrated are not suitable for all individual situations. Contact a licensed financial advisor or professional before making financial decisions. So 5 ETFs that are great for retirement. And what we wanted to do is find that high yield 13 to 48% total returns. We wanted to have the lack of any NAV decay. And we really wanted to have funds that we could set and forget in the process. Now, when we say set and forget, this is not just put it in your, underneath your mattress and never worry about it. But when we want a set and forget is that we don't have to look at it daily. We don't have to look at it monthly. We can just let it set, let it do its thing, check on it on occasion, and make sure we're getting the results that we need. So the very first fund that we put our Patreon person into was QQQI. And this is the NEOS NASDAQ 100 High Income ETF. Now, right off the bat, I showed them, look what happened when this thing dropped down with the original April tariffs that kicked in. After it hit that rock bottom, this thing has rocketed right back to where it was supposed to be. And this is what you want in a fund that will take care of itself. So the total return is only 6.03%. But even with a bad turn, a bad marketplace, this thing is still cranking out positive returns. So when we take a look at the dividend side of the QQQI, it has a dividend income of 14%. And when we look at that dividend chart, it's really a nice look, standard flow across the board. Now, even though you see that one little dip, that dip on that big calendar is only about an 8-cent drop either way for one-time dividend drop-off. But we're right back up to that 63 cents. So they're getting about 62 cents per share per month. So a very solid, definite income from QQQI. That combines a 14% of yield and a 6% NAV growth for a 20% total return. Very, very impressive number, and it's continuously doing this over time. So how do they do it? Well, it's a select covered calls and a selective purchase of out-of-the-money calls. So this dual layer approach generates a strong income. So what they're doing is they're looking at through selective covered calls of the NASDAQ 100. So they're trying to find the high yield stuff with the volatility. And then they're also selecting purchases of out of the money. So they're buying other calls out there that are out of the money that they know they can make money with. It's a neat approach. It's a highly managed account. So they're watching it for you. They're doing the work that you need to do. So basically, if you invested $10,000 into this, you'd get basically $1,400 back a year. Now, the big thing, this one still pays monthly. And that's what we really love in a retirement account, of the monthlies, so that you can pay your bills and live. Our second one is going to be BTCI, which is the NEOS Bitcoin High Income ETF. Now this one, again, you see the drop off in April, but 1 year return is a 26.47%. Now, a lot of people we talk to, we're not always looking for big returns in a retirement account because we want income to live off of. But when you have big returns like this, you can have a little bit more risk out there and try to find higher returns. And that's what this one does. This one here, with the volatility of Bitcoin doing what it's doing, it pays a solid 22.27 dividend income return, or that's about $1.45 per share per month. When you combine those two together, 22.27 yield and a 26.47 NAV, that gives you a whopping 48.74% total return. Now, how does BTCI do all this? Well, they're writing call options on Bitcoin futures. And we know that the volatility of Bitcoin is out there and will continue to be out there. And the profit that they can make from the volatility is what adds all this to it. So it falls right into Neos's program, to where they have someone watching it. They have computer systems taking information and spitting out what they need to do, and it's been rewarding. So if you had $10,000 invested into it, you get $2,200 and $2,247 back, and that one again pays monthly. Number 3, MAGY, the Roundhill Magnificent 7. Now this one here, again, you look at it, a return 8.94%. This one cranks out a 31.87% dividend income. And you look at the dividend chart, it pretty much continues doing nice dividends over long periods of time. Now, the exciting part of this one pays weekly. This is a 38-cent per share per week. That equals out to a 31.87% dividend yield, at 8.94% in growth, for a 40.81% total return. Now, how do they do this? Well, this one, MAGY, is basically calling call options on the Magnificent 7, which is your Meta, Apple, Amazon, Alphabet, NVIDIA, Tesla, Microsoft. It's all the higher tech companies. So it uses the fund-to-fund approach to provide income. So what they're kind of doing is making everything into one fund, using multiple funds to provide income. So when they see ones that's going to jump, like you just saw, Microsoft took a huge jump after their reporting, and you're going to see that across the board with everyone. That's where they're gathering up their income. And doing this on a weekly basis, it gives you more amplified returns. So a $10,000 investment will get you back $3,187. And remember, that weekly pay is huge because you constantly have cash flow coming in. Our fourth one is SPYI NEOS S&P 500 High Income ETF. Their total return for 1 year is 2.38%. Now, the dividend pays out at 12.06, which is what we like. And also, that one's paying 50 cents per share. And now we turn around and you look at the dividends, it's a fairly smooth mark across the board. You can count on that money coming in. So when you take the 12% yield and the 2.38% in NAV growth, you got a 14.44%. Now, the reason why we put into this is the S&P 500. You're dealing with the S&P 500. It's a strong market. It's what everyone ranks everything up against, and these guys are marketing on the S&P. So how do they do it? Well, they use a spread approach on the S&PX. That's a separate fund that does the S&P 500. It uses options on the S&P. So this one here, again, if you took and did $10,000 into it, you would get back a very large chunk of money. Okay, this one is, and it again, this one is paying on that monthly program. So very strong package. Now our fifth fund is going to be NVII Rex NVIDIA Growth and Income ETF. Now I know this one's not been out a full year, and I put that right out there. 6 months return is 28.82%. Now, when I put this to the Patreon supporter, I said, look, I know this does not have a good track record. It's only 6 months out, but NVIDIA is going crazy. They are doing so much. And if you don't get on the train today, you're going to miss this train down the road. And when you look at this with a 28.82% in 6 month growth, the sky is still the limit for this thing. And then when I showed the income, the dividend income of 35.55%, and when we started talking about this is a weekly payer paying 22 cents per share per week, it was almost a given that this one here has a 35.55% yield, a 28.82% NAV growth. Now I know this is only over a 6-month period, but this is giving them a 64.37% total return. This is huge, and this is very important why part of this has to be a part of a retirement fund. A lot of the things that we've showed you are long-term pieces. We believe NVIDIA and the AI market is going to be a long-term play. This is the new technology. So we had to get into it and get into it early to make sure that we can get our full run off of this. That gives us 5 solid funds that we've had so far. Now, how does NVIDIA do this? Well, first off, this is why we went with Rex. Half of the fund is uncapped and for upside potential, which is huge with NVIDIA. As this thing grows, a lot of other firms, ETFs out there don't do this process. They just look for the volatility of NVIDIA. Well, Rex does it a different way. They do things with half their investment goes into growth. They want the upside potential of what NVIDIA is going to do, and we know it's going to have some increased side of that. They take the other half of the portfolio and they aggressively go after weekly income via covered call strategies. So it's a unique thing. No one else is doing this in an ETF, is that they're capturing both the upside and income side across the board. Now, if we turn around with this one, a $10,000 investment would get you back $3,500. But remember, this one's paying weekly. Very, very strong package across the board. So, balanced fund. Well, we are a balanced fund because we're working one off of them with NASDAQ 100 covers. We have another one working off the S&P 500 covers. We have another one working off of Bitcoin. We have another one looking at the MAG 7. I call it the old tech group. All 7 of them out there. They've been out there for years. They have great responses to it. And then we have the AI covered with the NVIDIA. That's doing the most that you've seen so far. Now, when you turn around and say, well, you don't have Meta's doing strong. Meta's in the MAG 7. Google's in the MAG 7. So we have technology covered and the new AI covered. And this is what I like about it. We have everything covered. It's a well-spanned, across the board, balanced approach. So let's take a look at how the projections of the results will happen with the investment. So the investment would have been $250,000. This is part or full retirement fund is what the number we're using. For them, this was only part of their fund. This is only part of their retirement package that they wanted to improve. So we turned around, put that all into it. I said, look, you're going to invest equally in all 5 funds. Your income's going to turn out to be, I think, amazing across the board because you're going to get a return of $57,875 from only a $250,000 investment. They love the income side of it. That given them a monthly income of $4,822 from just part of their portfolio. Plus, on top of all that, they're going to have growth of $36,320. Guys, I don't know how much more you could actually do. I almost want to say the growth is too high. I would put more into the return. But down the road, as they said, we have protection. We have coverage. That most of these funds are covered. They're not going to have the NAV erosion that we may think that other ones have, but they're paying out great dividends. So in summary, you can get high income returns, around 23% average. You can get growth returns about 14%. You can wisely limit your risk in retirement and really have no NAV erosion or to worry about from funds. This is a win-win-win situation, guys. This is where you get the success. This is where you find your sweet spots. And this is how you can take your retirement fund, readjust, reorganize, and maybe it's only part of your fund, and do this equally. You have a fund that's just going to be the new high income, and then you have other things that are just going to be the low income security things. I always call the Warren Buffett side of things. And then you have what we call your play money in the middle. But guys, I think this is a total win-win situation, and it definitely helped them, and they made the changes, and they're moving forward with it. Guys, it's Doug the Retirement Guy. I hope you liked this video. If you do, hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, hit that button. Join the community. We're doing this all the time. And best of all, leave your comments. See what you guys think. But always remember, none of this is designed. This is for your entertainment. We are not financial experts. We are only trying to help the average Joe. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you next time.